Hey yo, it's Cyrus. I just wanted to jump in here with a very casual video. We're just fucking sitting in the studio. And I was thinking, I have always been an introvert my whole life. And I had to develop the skill of talking, of interacting, of being secure and being outgoing. Like, I don't know how I appear to people on the internet, but in real life, like I'm in my zone, It's like I'm the lone wolf character. But I was reflecting on this earlier today, and something that has changed in me over the years that has made my life so much better is interacting with people. Now, specifically, I'm thinking about the gym I go to, right? So I used to just be like, oh, just do my own thing. And nowadays, I still do my own thing. But in the past, I would just like keep my head down and like try not to notice people, try not to, not put myself out there, essentially. But over the past, especially this past year or so, I've recognized how fun it is actually to talk to people. Uh, like I realize I really enjoy interacting with people one on one, not people in groups, because people in groups are not people when you truly interact with them as sovereign individual beings. And it's like they'll give you a piece of their worldview that opens your mind and realize like wow, there's like so many different streams of consciousness and perception like around me. Everybody is in their own world, right? And it's like, what's the point of reading a book? Right? The point of reading a book is that you're exposed to an entirely different world through the lens of the author, right? And I realize interacting with people in real life is the exact same thing. And so going back to the gym example, right? I started to become curious about other people. And, I would notice things about them, like maybe they do a particular exercise really well. Maybe they have a really nice back, you know? Right? I notice certain unique qualities about each person. And then you just kind of naturally spark up a conversation or an interaction, right? Um, I think what stopped me in the past was my own self-consciousness, right? Because I felt not secure enough in myself. I felt unsure about myself, and I feared, oh, I don't want to end up revealing too much about myself, and then what if I look bad to the other person? And that was something, self-image, self-worth, insecurity, that was something I struggled with for so long. I'm trying to think, how did I overcome that? How did I overcome that? I will say this, one of the core realizations was realizing the fact that nobody actually knows what they're doing on this planet. Everybody comes up with what they believe to know about what they're doing in this planet, right? But there's such a unique variety. Somewhere along the way, you realize, oh, people think so differently. There is no right way to go about life. There is no right way to think about things. And when you can truly embrace that, you realize, I think before, always in the back of my mind was the question of, am I doing it right? Am I doing it right? Am I doing it right? So I would look to other people to subconsciously ask them, hey, am I doing it right? Am I doing it right? Am I doing it right? Right? I think where this is most glaring is the whole system of like, you go through the schooling system, then you get a degree, then you fucking get a job, climb up the corporate ladder. You're constantly asking society, am I doing it right? Am I doing it right? Am I doing it right? So one of the shifts for me was realizing like actually nobody knows what the fuck they're doing. And when you develop the courage to step into your own lane, to chart your own path, and realize that nobody else knows what they're doing, right? And it's safer. It feels safer, more comfortable psychologically to follow the pre-paved path. But once you can truly embrace stepping into your own lane, creating your own lane, designing your own life, your own thoughts, your own beliefs, right? Being intentional with what you value, suddenly, it's almost like the world just opens up, you know? And you develop a sort of confidence that can only come from this form of radical self-acceptance. So I don't quite know how I'm going to title this video yet, but it'll probably be something along the lines of an introvert's guide to, becoming more social, becoming more confident, becoming more outgoing, being less afraid to express yourself. Because for many years, I was so attached to my identity as an introvert, right? And when you attach a label to yourself, then your identity conforms to that label. That's why these labels are so dangerous. You have to be very, very, very careful with the labels that you assign to yourself, because they become your identity. I don't even label myself as an introvert anymore, even though as a label I am an introvert, because one of the things I most value is my own solitude, is my own privacy, is my own ability to be the lone wolf and to lead my own life and not need to be around other people. And quite frankly, I feel that way because a lot of the times I might even feel a bit more lonely. I might feel more alone around people than I am when I am alone, because I feel like not many people are able to meet me at the depth from which I like to operate life, right? And this sounds egotistical perhaps, but people tend to be more shallow than I am. I find that I am a very deep thinker. I think into things very deeply, and I look into things very deeply. I observe very deeply. And for many years earlier, this was my greatest weakness, because it gave me anxiety, it gave me depression, it gave me a lack of meaning. It was because I felt so much and I thought so deeply about things. It was overwhelming, right? But I realized your greatest weakness is actually your greatest strength. And simultaneously, your greatest strength is also your greatest weakness. But I had to transmute and transform that weakness of being an introvert, because my whole life I thought being an introvert was a weakness, right? Because it's not glorified, right? The extrovert is what's glorified, right? And so all of us introverts, our whole lives are oh, well, it's we feel a little bit inferior for some reason, right? Because we're not extroverted, because we don't feel we can just be the social, I don't know what word I'm looking for. But I'm sure you get what I mean. But because I was labeled as the introvert and I had these negative connotations about what the label of being introvert meant, that I attached that to my identity, right? And that caused me so much suffering. I thought it was wrong. A part of me felt like it was wrong to not want to be social, right? When in reality, deep down, I just felt like nobody understood who I really was. And that if I tried to reveal who I really was, people would just stare at me blankly huh? What does this guy mean? But as I found the courage to accept my own depth and my own personality and my own wisdom and my own thoughts and my own quirks, right? And I think YouTube and being able to share my thoughts out loud was a huge step in that process, because it built the courage in me to just put it out there, regardless of the outcome, regardless of what other people think. And it's like day by day, I get a little more courageous on the stupidity of the shit I put out. Like, for example, my last video, I was putting on pants. And I totally could have and should have probably cut that part out. But I didn't. I was just like, I don't give a fuck anymore, And I guess maybe that's a part to blame for my awakening through psilocybin and stuff, transcending the ego death, all that stuff. Just like things that used to scare you and care about, they don't matter as much to you anymore. But, okay, back to the original point of this video. Your greatest weakness as an introvert, or what you might think is your greatest weakness, potentially, right, is also your greatest strength. Because I realized that my introversion, right, what does introversion mean? It's your ability to go within. Introversion, right, is now leading to my extroversion, because I'm taking all of my ability to go within, and now I'm developing the ability to translate that inward intelligence and translate it outwards. And I think this is the next, for me personally, this is the next path on my journey to self-realization. And I hope this video can inspire you guys who, my fellow introverts, and maybe even extroverts who are watching. I don't know why you would be. I guess maybe you want to try to understand the world of an introvert, right? But I hope to inspire you that it's like your personality is not rigid. It's not stiff. It's flexible. You can become anything you want. You think that 3 years ago I would have imagined that I could speak to a camera like this? Like, this was unfathomable to me. Right? And I only hope to become more confident and to let my voice shine even louder, because I'm at the point where now I'm like, I truly actually believe like I have something to share. I have something worth being heard. And that took a lot of work on myself to come to that point, right? You have like the self-doubt, the hesitation, the anxiety, the worry, the fear of judgment, all of it, right? But take away this message. Don't let labels stop you from getting and doing what you want and becoming the person you want out of this life. Don't let them stop you. Don't let other people stop you. Don't let other people's judgment. Don't let other people's preconceived notions. Because as soon as something becomes planted as a seed of doubt in your mind, and that seed of doubt is allowed to slowly nurture and grow, it can destroy you, right? The key is to catch that, to root it out, fucking grab it, toss it out, This video is getting into the 1337s, so I'm going to end it here. Thanks for joining me on this Raw Talk. I'm still, exploring what I want out of this channel, and, if you read my... Fuck! If you read my bio, you'll see that I'm a very multi-passionate person, and so many different topics interest me. And I just honestly, I would like the feedback of like what resonates and all that. But yeah, I'm gonna stop yapping. Have yourself a wonderful morning, day, night, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.